Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. As always, I be in the comments. Y'all asked for a more detailed video explaining the basics of candlestick charts, so here we are, talking about the basics of candlestick charts. So I'll give you my interpretation of it. I'll give you what I like, what I don't like about it, and how you can use it in your investing strategy. Now, obviously, you do not have to stick to one technique. Now, it would behoove you, if you ask me, to get good at least one technique, one investing technique, and then be an expert there if you can, and then add more things to your game as you wish. Now, for me, I am not someone who specializes in reading candlestick charts. It's something I do. It is something I'm looking to get better at, and I'm constantly improving, taking classes, reading and stuff like that, but it ain't my forte. I am more of someone who, y'all know my strategy, I buy, I hold, I reevaluate. However, my strength comes in understanding the broader picture, understanding the economy. So for me, I can sit down, I can read the news, understand what's going on, say, hey, look, retail, banking, metaverse, whatever. That makes sense. Let me take that, match it with companies, buy them, make some money, hold it, reevaluate, and just kind of do that process. But that's my strength, right? Others are really good at looking at charts and saying, look, based on what I'm seeing here, based on how the prices are moving, this price for this company makes the most sense. I'm going to buy it right here and then sell it for a profit when it hits this price point. Both can work. And I'll show you how both can work. We actually did a video on how 3 approaches and 3 viewpoints of a stock can work. So there's, in either case, it can work, but candlestick charts do give you more information, and that's what I want to show you here. So let's go ahead and look at it. This is NVIDIA. I own NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA is probably the best stock my daughter has right now, and I mean, everybody love it. But as you can see here, this is the first line chart. It's a line. The line is pretty much going up. Super simple, right? So as a video, it's not much to explain here, but it doesn't really tell me much information. So yes, I see that. Yep, stock went up. Cool. Does it tell me that it was green every day? Does that mean every single day the stock was up? It doesn't really tell me that. It's not really telling me what's a great price to enter into this stock. Now, in some cases, you may not care, right? If I am someone who's investing for a long term and I think NVIDIA is a very strong company and it's going to remain that way, me buying, and this is, it's $301 at the time of this recording, almost $302. I get it at 302, and a year from now, maybe it's 400. A year from now, maybe it's 500. I don't know. If it's good, it's going to be higher this time next year and the year after and the year after. That's how good companies tend to grow. So, I may not care if I'm a long-term investor, but if I'm trading and I'm someone who's trying to, I need to extract some money from this company now. I need to extract some money from this company in the next 2 or 3 weeks because this is what I use for my income. I have to be more precise. That's where candlestick charts come in. So I'm going to take this exact same company, exact same time frame. Everything's the same, except that the chart is now in candlestick chart form. And you will notice a bunch of different things here. First, I've got the green areas, these green candles, and each one of these little tiny candles is 1 day. And that's the first thing. So it breaks it up into days. And I can see every day where there was a good day, meaning the stock went up, or a bad day, meaning the stock went down. So we lost money on this day. This day it went up, and then down, up, down. And you see where we're going here. It also tells me price movements and how significant those moves were. Larger candles mean the price moved a lot on those days, and smaller movements like this show me that the price didn't move at the end of the day that much. So I want to pay attention to the left hand side of the screen here before I dig in more to the chart itself, and I'll zoom in too. So notice these 3 things. So closing price, this means at the end of the day, this is where the price was. Okay, so the end of the day, it closed at 298.01. Okay, that was it. At the end of the day, at 4 o'clock Eastern, provided there wasn't a holiday, boom, that was the ending price. It closed. That's it. It's not going to do anything really until the next day. Now, the open rather. It started out when the stock market opened on that day, and this is the day we're talking about right here. That's just where as you can see here, November 4th, that's where the cursor stopped. So that's why these prices don't match up. So on November 4th, this is what this was. So on November 4th, at the end of November 4th, on that day was 298.01. But the morning of November 4th, it started out at 272, which shows you how big that jump was. So it ended at 298, but it started at 272. And then the high was 313.65. That's what you see with this little, what we call a wick. Some people call it shadows. I call it a wick because it's a candle. That these lines at the top and bottom, as you can see here, those are going to be the lows and the highs. So during the day, it was as high as $313 per share on that day. However, it shot up and hit that point at some point and then came back down and then closed at 298. And then, as you see here, this is the low. It was as low as 271, which means, again, now this little thing is in the way, but at some point during the day, it started at 272, came down to 271, went all the way up to 313, and then came down and closed at 298. That's a lot of movement. That's why this particular candle is as big as it is. Also here, you can see there was some movement. I would call it a medium move. I don't know what happened here. This could have been earnings, could have been a great day, could have been good news. It could be anything, but that's the point, is I see that on that day, a lot of stuff happened. Now, the other thing that people do when we talk about candlestick charts is that these charts do tell somewhat of a story. And, the person who really understands this the most, I think, is Terry Ijeoma. She teaches an incredible course about reading candlesticks. She's a day trader. I'll be honest with you. Day trading is not something I do. Okay, it is not something I endorse, but she is really good at it. She went to MIT, so she's way better at math than I am. However, generally, when you look at charts like this, what's moving the market? It ain't me and you. We ain't got the money to move the market. However, institutions and banks do, which is when I say follow the money. When I'm investing in certain things, I want to see who else is buying. I want to see a Morgan Stanley. I want to see a Goldman Sachs say, look, we're buying X amount of dollars in Nvidia. That's going to push the stock up. So what we know is when we see these large candles, there are buyers and sellers in the market. And these are usually pretty big banks that say, look, we're selling at this price point and we are buying at other price points. So that means that sellers are winning on this day, right? And buyers are winning and pushing the stock up on that day. Sellers on that red candle are winning, they're pushing the stock down. But when you see these tiny candles, let's say right here, a little tiny candle right here, these are called doji candles, and that's saying that price is consolidating, that buyers or sellers are saying this is the quote-unquote right price. We agree that at these particular points, this is what the correct price for Nvidia should be, and these could be buying opportunities for you. So for example, I'm gonna scroll up and it's exact same chart again, but we just zoomed in. Okay, so it's just a larger thing. So this is still November 4th. Okay, that would make this 8th, so this would be November 9th right here. Okay, so for example, as we're looking, we saw, buyers definitely won on that day, sellers won on this day, but in this space, for whatever reason, the market is saying that about 300, and I'm looking over here on this side, so maybe anywhere between 300, 305 or so, that's the right price for Nvidia. Because not every time, but once we start to hit this space, that's when the market kind of takes the stock higher, right? Now I can't really see this on the original chart, but today I'm recording this on December 10th, look, the price came right down into that same area, right? Came to that same area, came down to 301. Maybe if it came down to 300 or more, a particular stock reader someone who's really into candlestick charts may say, look, I want to buy it at 300 in hopes that the next time it comes down to this 300 space, perhaps it'll come back up and I can make a profit. That's what a candlestick tells you. That is the theory and the backbone and hypothesis of people who use candlestick charts. Now here's the thing. There's no guarantee that that is going to happen. Just because it comes back down to a level or a space that it was in the past, don't mean it's going to do it again. There's nothing about this chart that says it has to come to this level and it has to break back out. There could be news that comes out on Monday. There could be news that comes out on Tuesday. There could be a report that says inflation is crazy. All types of things that could come out and say, well, now what we thought on Friday, December 10th, is no longer the case, and the stock absolutely tanks. That happens, right? So you as a trader need to be able to mitigate that and read and understand what's going on and have a plan for that. But that is what a candlestick chart can tell me. It can tell me that, you know, there is some consolidation, that buyers and sellers are agreeing on a particular price. It can also tell me that, and I don't know what happened here, maybe I want to read on that too. It also says they agree down here. So maybe I'm waiting until it comes down to that 270, 260, and that would be the absolute price I could buy it at, and then hope to ride it up to 300 and above. Maybe, right? There's no guarantee it's going to get down there either, and that's what makes candlestick charts a little harder. I'll also show you this. So I'm going to go back up and basically resuming back out. And another way that candlestick charts can be used. Again, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to cut and analyze a candlestick chart. So other people do is what's called, they'll draw their line of resistance and support. It's not going to be the most exact line. What they'll say is, let's say they'll do something like this, and let me draw a better line. I'm not sure if that was a better line. What you want to do in your trading platform, Thinkorswim, Thinkorswim, some people use Webull, whatever it is you want to use, you don't want to use your hand, because obviously your hand is going to be curved and your lines of resistance and support are not going to be as solid. What some people will do is say, well, it looks like this is a space for support, and every time the stock gets close to this line, this is an opportunity for me to buy, and it should bounce off that line and move up. Now again, it's just a line. You drew that. There is no rule saying that is going to be the case. However, this is some of the techniques that traders will use and use candlestick charts to gauge at what point to enter and exit. Here's the thing. You can interpret this in many different ways. So you saw me draw a line from October all the way through now, and this is a spot that you might not buy. However, if I am someone who looks at a chart differently, I can say that this is my buying area. This is my zone to buy, and I might want to buy it there. Whereas the original approach, or not the original approach, the earlier approach says no, you don't want to buy there. Another way that I can look at this is if I'm drawing lines of resistance and support, I could say, let me do something like this, and say that every time it touches this line here, this is a point for me to buy. So I would have bought, let me draw that back. So I would have bought here, maybe I would have bought it down here, and sold. So I can say this is my buying line, and this is my selling line. A lot of people call this a channel, right? I do this technique most often, but basically it's kind of waving up and down through a particular space for whatever reason, and when it hits that bottom space, that's what I'm going to buy. When it hits that top space, that's what I'm going to sell. So maybe I would have bought it here, and maybe I would have bought it right here, because those two spaces, maybe three, is when it touched that bottom line. I could have bought there, had it ride up, and then sell somewhere in that top space. Again, is that the most scientific way? Depends on who you ask. Is it the most reliable way? Depends on who you ask. However, it has made people some money, and that's how people do use it. So just wanted to point that out. So that is the super basics of how to read a candlestick chart. And one other thing too, before I should have mentioned this in the beginning. Notice too, so we talked about the open, the sell, and the open, the high, the low, and the close. So this means on a red candlestick chart, this means it closed down here. So it's red. I know the closing is at the bottom of the body of the candle. And on this day, this is November 4th, at the very top of that, it closed at the top. And I know it's green, so it's up. So at the top of the body, that's where it closed. And at the bottom of the body, in the red candle, that's where it closed. And again, we have the high. I'm just going to put high and low there. So that's, yeah, I know, again, this no is not how you spell high. I'll abbreviate. Somebody's going to make fun of me because, you know, I have typos in my life. And that's the high and the low based on the wicks. So that's just, you know, other things I probably should have brought up in the very beginning. But these are some of the ways that people use candlestick charts. I enjoy them in some ways because they do give me more information. If I ever need to be precise, then I'll jump to a candlestick chart if I'm trying to do something and be fancy and make some money now, because it tells me I already know Nvidia is a good company. I know that because we're in chip shortage. I know because as someone who's more of a strategist, I'm reading and understanding the market. I can see how many people are buying Nvidia, and I know for a fact. I mean, look at it. I know Nvidia is going up. That's not a guess. We can see that. We've known this for years that Nvidia is going up. So I can buy it down, hold it for the long term. But if I'm saying, look, you know, I need some extra Christmas money, I'm not recommending that you do this. But if you want to trade, you can say, look, you know, maybe $300 is the right price for me. I'll buy it at $300 and I'll sell it at $325. I'm making $25 of profit times however many shares I get. Boom, I made money. I'll walk out of this. That's not a guarantee, right? There's no guarantee it's gonna go there. It could do whatever it does between now and then. At whatever point it hits 325, if it hits it at all. So I'm rambling now, but that is how to understand on a super basic level how candle charts are used, how or what candle charts are, why people candlestick charts, what they are, why people use it, and then how you want to use it in your trading strategy. Now, how you use it, and there are a bunch of bells and whistles that you can use to really amplify this. That's totally up to you, and it's in the eye of the beholder, which is one reason why I don't like it. I like black and white. This is the rule. We're buying it. We're selling it based on this, as opposed to let me look at it. Let me draw some lines, because the lines that you draw can be different than mine. Your entry price can be different than mine for a different reason, and we can make our profits can be different, which is fine, right? But I like something I can repeat and do very easily, and that's not as subjective. So those are my thoughts on candlestick charts. Yes, they can work. Yes, I do use it from time to time. There's a very small section, a bonus section in my course where we talk a little bit about it as well. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about it in the video. If you have other questions and things you want me to break down, feel free to let me know. All right, that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys later.